On tonight. Well, despite shooting, most Somalis seem to be very grateful for Operation Restore Hope. They see it as a national rescue effort for this beleaguered nation. That's especially true for outsiders who are living here in what is described as the relief community. NBC's Martin Fletcher has more on that tonight.
This is exactly what the aid workers feared, that with so many weapons in a tense situation, an accident was bound to happen. Not helping their humanitarian mission, but hindering it. The first reaction to the French killings.
Our purpose here was to keep the peace, not to create a problem, which makes it very difficult for all us volunteers.
In the camps where the victims of the famine survive on food aid, it's a different story. This feeding center registered 40 new arrivals today, 10 times more than last week. For them, Mogadishu so far is a place of hope.
They come to Mogadishu, they think Americans and everybody who is in Mogadishu here, they will help them, and it is more safer than the area that they come from.
For people, if they like the Americans, you get excitement so much it ended in a party. Yesterday, this would have seemed so out of place in a feeding center. Today, well, could this have been last week? I asked an aid worker. He laughed. Forget it, he said. What was there to celebrate? And remember little Faisal? We met him 3 days ago. Then I said, young Faisal is in good hands, but even they may not be good enough. Well, today he's better. A little energy, even sitting up. But he hadn't had his intravenous drip for 2 days and could die without it. Since the American landing, the foreign nurses haven't come to work. We went to find them before today's shooting. They've been ordered to stay home until it's safe.
We would all like to get up this morning and gone out to our feeding centres, but we respect the fact that there may be dangers, and it would be an international issue if aid workers were killed.
Back to the camp. The Somalis were embarrassed by our questions and did what they should have done much earlier. A little tale which shows how much Somalis still have to learn about looking after their own. Martin Fletcher, NBC News, Mogadishu, Somalia.
I'll be back with more from Somalia later in the program, and Jane Pauley will have more from New York and Bill Clinton's new economic team in just a moment.
And steak in front of strangers at 30,000 feet? Not till I switched. Now I fix it and forget it.
That's good. When people are watching you this closely, you just can't be worried about your dentures. That's why I Fix-It-Dent and forget it.
Fix-It-Dent holds stronger than any other adhesive. It even stands up to the hottest liquids.
Taste it, Grandpa.
He never would have tried this with his old adhesive.
For the strongest hold you can get, Fix-It-Dent and forget it.
The Remington microscreen shaves as close as a blade or your money back. Remington has diamond-honed cutting edges and 2 flexible, ultra-thin screens that stretch the skin and lift whiskers to let you shave below skin level. That's Remington.
Mothers have learned from countless doctors and pharmacists to take care of coughs with Robitussin. And they've taken this advice home. Robitussin, recommended by Dr. Mom. Ask your doctor or pharmacist.
President-elect Clinton made his first cabinet appointments today, concentrating on the area that was also first priority during his campaign, the economy. And there was more encouraging news on that front today. Wholesale prices in November fell 0.2% last month, the first drop in 10 months, driven in large part by the biggest drop in vegetable prices in more than 27 years. Welcome news in Little Rock, where NBC's Andrea Mitchell is with Bill Clinton. Andrea?
Jane, Bill Clinton campaigned as an agent of change. To lead that change, he's chosen an economic team headed by congressional leaders and Wall Street insiders. As Treasury Secretary, Senate Finance Chairman Lloyd Benson. Courtly, establishment, and chosen largely for his ability to get Clinton's economic program through Congress.
I wanted someone who had the unique capacity to command the respect of Wall Street while showing an unrelenting concern for the Americans who make their living on Main Street.
But Benson is also a lifelong friend of special interests like the oil and gas industry, not the kind of outsider likely to shake things up.
I've heard all these stories about my being an insider. Let me tell you, I felt like an outsider for 12 years, and I'm tired of the gridlock.
Benson's deputy will be former Carter official and Wall Street investment banker Roger Altman. As budget director, Clinton picked House Budget Chairman Leon Panetta, a strong advocate of deficit reduction. During the campaign, Panetta said Clinton's deficit plan didn't add up.
Well, I'm going to give him a chance to teach me some math. I gave him the best arithmetic teaching job in America, you see.
I think the first priority, and I believe deeply that the governor shares this, first priority is to develop a long-term deficit reduction plan, combined with the kind of investments that have to be made within our own society.
Panetta's deputy will be another hardliner on deficit reduction, former Congressional Budget Office head Alice Rivlin. Clinton named Wall Street investment banker Robert Rubin, head of Goldman Sachs, to lead a new White House economic policy group, similar to the National Security Council, inevitably downgrading the long-standing Council of Economic Advisors. And NBC News has learned that Clinton will name at least 4 more major appointments tomorrow. Laura Tyson, an economist at Berkeley, to head the Council of Economic Advisors. Harvard lecturer Robert Reich as Secretary of Labor. Florida environmental official Carol Browner to head the Environmental Protection Agency, and University of Wisconsin Chancellor Donna Shalala to be Secretary of Health and Human Services. Clinton is known to be considering Joint Chiefs Chairman Colin Powell for Secretary of State. Powell said today he already has a job.
I certainly think he's qualified to be Secretary of State.
Clinton's proposed budget director said today that the middle-class tax cut promised in the campaign would not be a top priority. But he said he would look for budget cuts everywhere, including in Social Security. Jane?
Thanks, Andrea. Oregon Senator Bob Packwood has struggled to limit the damage ever since years of rumors about his treatment of women exploded last month into front-page charges of sexual harassment. Packwood has expressed regret, admitted alcohol abuse, attempted to discredit his accusers. Today, Packwood took a new tack. NBC's Lisa Myers has more.
Fighting for his political life, Packwood said that after 18 days of reflection, he now knows that his unwanted sexual advances were wrong.
Although most of these incidents are a decade or 2 decades old, and no one's job or pay or status in the office was threatened, my conduct was still wrong. I just didn't get it. I do now.
Packwood was unable to explain how he could not realize that holding a woman down to kiss her or trying to pull off her clothes was wrong at the time. He did not dispute any of the allegations of the 10 women who accused him of sexual misconduct.
I would like to meet with them personally and apologize if my conduct was wrong.
But Packwood did not apologize for or even discuss his previous attempt to discredit these women by digging up embarrassing personal and sexual information.
I am not going to discuss the issue at all.
That infuriated leaders of women's rights groups in Oregon, many of them Democrats.
The fact that he continues to try and smear these women and refuses to take responsibility for that sends a very chilling message out.
Packwood's performance today did not quiet demands for his resignation.
He still doesn't get it. And that's the message. He still doesn't get it.
However, efforts by these women to force a recall of Packwood face big obstacles. The fallback strategy is to force a referendum asking him to resign, hoping that the humiliation will make him quit. But Packwood today seemed determined to tough it out.
I am not going to resign under any circumstances.
The Senate Ethics Committee already has begun an investigation and plans to take up Packwood's case in January. When it does, the credibility of the entire Senate will be on the line. Lisa Myers, NBC News, the Capitol.
On Wall Street today, more profit-taking helped push stocks lower in very heavy trading.
Her name is Sarah, and she's lucky because today she'll encounter egrets doing dances and alligators in the wild. She'll see how other moms take care of their kids, and she'll be doing this, recycling, through a program of the National Park Service and its recycling partner, Dow.
We can make a difference in what tomorrow brings.
Together with the National Park Service and folks like Sarah.
Dow lets you do great things.
Sweet, succulent, sun-sweet, pleasantly pitted prunes. Sweet, sun-sweet, succulent. Sweet, succulent, sun-sweet, pleasantly pitted prunes. They are so much easier to eat. Can we try it again?
Keep going. I recommend Isotoner Lady Slippers. What do I get Claire for the holidays?
Isotoner slippers.
I get her Isotoner slippers and she still has me scrambling. Sharon, Grandma, Susan, and little Karen. Isotoner gives you other ways to get warm. So start the season out on the right foot.
Isotoner slippers. Black & Decker says, why struggle? Get the power you need with Black & Decker's corded hand vac. With a motorized brush and a 25-foot cord, it cleans tough jobs in tough places. The corded dirt vac, only from Black & Decker.
On America Close Up tonight, the homeless, who have long suffered public indifference, are increasingly feeling the public's resentment and, worse, physical abuse. On any given night, up to 700,000 people in shelters or just camped out on the streets. NBC's Robert Hager begins his report in Gastonia, North Carolina.
The homeless. While some Americans are sympathetic, some are not. There's been backlash, and occasionally it's turned ugly, as in Gastonia, North Carolina. Mayor Jick Garland.
The police department reacted in a manner that would not be expected of law enforcement officers, by pouring oil on them, by sometimes I think maybe even striking them. Again, some urinated on them.
Ed Sanders says the police dumped oil on him.
I had a bucket of oil. One of them just kept oil over my head.
Johnny Smith says he still bears scars where the police beat him. And a street person named Chainsaw says this wall was splattered with warm cooking oil thrown by police, much of which landed on a homeless man named Ben Hanna, who reported it to an attorney. 2 months later, Hannah's body was found, a shotgun nearby. Local authorities called it a suicide.
Now, 3 years later, federal prosecutors charge a small group of Gastonia police actually formed a gang to systematically harass the homeless, pick them up in patrol cars, drive them around, and terrorize and beat them.
The city has already paid nearly $100,000 to the homeless to settle a civil suit. Now, 4 officers have pleaded guilty to criminal charges, and 3 more go on trial Monday. Attorney James Ferguson represents some of the homeless.
This was the outrage of outrages, because the purpose of the police is to protect the citizens. The police chose the very people that they should have been helping to harm them.
Many in Gastonia disagree. The mayor doesn't defend the police conduct, but he is critical of some homeless.
The street people are people who generally want to be where they are.
Gastonia resident Gary Johnson.
If I'd been there when the police officers done it, I'd give them another bottle of oil if you want to know the truth. I mean, you know, I have no sympathy for these guys.
Nationally, there is growing hostility and violence against the homeless. Near Fort Myers, Florida, 2 years ago, police raided a homeless camp, burning everything they could and bulldozing the rest. In New York City, this homeless man was knifed, and an arsonist burned down the shanty town. 16 New York homeless have been set afire this year, mostly by teenage gangs. 4 died. When violence does occur, the homeless are urged to report it. But one research group says they're afraid.
Many are in fear and believe that there will be retaliation by police. In fact, the message that we want to get across to street people is that we want them to complain.
In Gastonia, someone did complain, and now police officers are about to stand trial. Robert Hager, NBC News, Washington.
More news and John Chancellor's commentary when we come back.
Can a razor cut your beard below the skin without the blades touching your face? It can if it's a Norelco, because inside the floating heads, our lift and cut system lifts the hair so when it's cut, it can drop below skin level without the blades touching your face. Are you shaving this incredibly close and comfortable? You are when you shave with Norelco. Norelco, we make close, comfortable.
I have to admit, I'm a little surprised.
About what?
I just never thought I'd see you in anything but a BMW or a Lexus.
Me neither.
Airbag? Leather? This is quality. Expensive?
About 10, 15,000 less than the BMW or Lexus. I think it feels just as good.
What? Oh, there's Pontiac Bonneville. It's amazing.
When
you look at plastic, you know how it helps things stay fresh and safe and light and unbreakable and strong and easy to carry. But take another look. Plastic also saves energy because it helps make cars lighter to save gas. And plastic insulation helps save energy at home. Even these strong plastic bags help save energy because they take less energy to make than other grocery bags. To learn more, call this number for a free booklet. And take another look at plastic.
This is the new Panasonic Power Floss and Brush, a fast, easy way to floss and brush your teeth. And this is what can happen when you don't floss and brush. The new Panasonic Power Floss and Brush. It's dental floss you'll actually use.
Any questions? There's something about Anacin you probably don't know. Anacin is such a strong pain reliever, headache sufferers find Anacin more effective than regular strength aspirin against stubborn headache pain. Rediscover Anacin for stubborn headache pain.
Now a check of some of today's other news. Russian President Boris Yeltsin taking parliamentary opposition head-on, calling for a national referendum to let the public decide who should rule, accusing hardliners of inviting civil war. In Florida, end of the line for 100 more Haitians, rescued before dawn when their wooden freighter ran aground. The Coast Guard has picked up some 31,000 refugees this year, most sent back. Far from sunny Florida, weather is a problem. Snow in Wisconsin and Illinois up to 8 inches in some places, and miserable conditions in parts of Pennsylvania, snarling highway traffic, closing most schools. John Chancellor is here now with some thoughts about President-elect Clinton's appointments. John?
Jane, lots of jobs for women in the Clinton administration, but what is Mrs. Clinton going to do? I thought, give her a job in government. Hillary Clinton is a respected lawyer and an expert on the legal rights of children. She is certainly qualified to serve in a sub-cabinet position. She could be confirmed as an assistant attorney general. Sorry, wrong, can't be done. Forbidden by the Bobby Kennedy law. When John F. Kennedy made his brother Robert Attorney General, a lot of people didn't like that. After President Kennedy died, the Congress passed a law making it illegal for a president to give any kind of salaried government job to a relative. Reminds me of the 22nd Amendment to the Constitution. Franklin Roosevelt was elected president 4 times. After he died, the Republicans got the Constitution amended to limit a president to only 2 terms. The 22nd Amendment and the Bobby Kennedy law are wrong in my view because they're based on revenge. The law leaves Hillary Clinton in limbo. She has advised her husband on policy decisions for 20 years, and she certainly will continue to do that. But the law makes her a kind of Mamie Eisenhower or Bess Truman, only a pillow talk counselor to the president. Too bad. 3 out of 4 mothers of Mrs. Clinton's age go to work every day. If we had a working couple in the White House, it would reflect the way Americans live. But that is impossible now because of a 25-year-old law based on revenge. Jane?
Thanks, John. Maybe you've noticed it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. In Washington this evening, an American tradition, President and Mrs. Bush presided over the lighting of the national Christmas tree. This year, a 38-foot Colorado blue spruce on the ellipse south of the White House.
Even with the best products, something goes wrong once in a while. Now, while that might be okay at some companies, it's not at Motorola Cellular. Motorola sets their standards a lot higher. And just how high are they? Well, for me to hit that level of consistency, I'd have to go 30 years without missing a single putt.
Motorola, setting standards of quality the whole world can shoot for.
You may not have given side impact collisions much consideration, but Buick has. You may not know that by the year 1997, all cars will be required to meet the U.S. government's side impact safety standard, or that the Buick Regal sedan meets this standard today, 4 years in advance. But it is important information, and we think it's definitely food for thought.
I can't, no, I'm sorry. I don't think so.
Oh, no, please, no, baby, no.
Oh, not a good idea. Not now.
No, bad time.
Fight morning breath with Scope. Scope has 2 powerful ingredients that kill 90% of the bacteria that cause morning breath.
Your kiss is ready. Pucker up.
Right on the kisser.
Come on.
Kiss morning breath goodbye with Scope.
Give me that kiss.
Shoot some slices, shoot some shreds, shoot some salad, 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 salad shooter.
Presto Salad Shooter Slicer Shredder. Point and shoot right where you want. Clean up easy, dishwasher safe, store anywhere.
Salad shooter.
Original and professional salad shooter.
The Remington microscreen shaves as close as a blade or your money back. 2 flexible screens let you shave whiskers below skin level. It's quick, smooth, comfortable. A great value. The Remington microscreen.
Back now from the airport at Mogadishu, Somalia, a country that has become the world's favorite charity case during this Christmas season. Ironically, Operation Restore Hope was launched just as American charities were struggling to raise money, raising far less than they did during the boom years of the 1980s. But Operation Restore Hope has changed the climate. NBC's Mike Jensen tonight.
Good afternoon, Kara. May I help you? Okay. Did you want to make a check or make a credit card contribution?
Until this week, the relief agencies were having a terrible time getting contributions for Somalia.
Our agencies had raised approximately 10% of what they raised for the 84-85 Ethiopia famine.
We were concerned that with the media message being that food was not getting out where it was needed to go and that the ports were full of unloaded ships, that people would stop giving.
Then the Marines landed and the phone banks came to life.
You would like to give a one-time gift for Somalia?
CARE rushed into print an expensive advertising campaign, reassuring people that their money would be put to good use, with dramatic results, according to John Moorbacker.
John, you spent $100,000 on full-page ads in 5 major newspapers. What kind of response have you gotten from that?
Well, we're making about $10,000 a day from telephone calls and about the same thing per day from mail response.
And what would you anticipate being the total amount you'll make from that $100,000 investment?
We'll clear $400,000 and take expenses out of that.
This flurry will last a few weeks, and then donors will move on to some other charity. The latest crisis gets the cash. Meantime, even relief agencies that have nothing to do with Somalia are doing quite well. Partly because of the season, people feel charitable at Christmas. Also, contributions made before January 1st are deductible on this year's tax return. So donations are up. The Salvation Army expects to take in $10 million more this year than last year. And it's a good thing, because even in this country, people are hurting. As for Somalia, this food in New Orleans will soon be on its way, financed by generous Americans with delivery guaranteed by the U.S. Marines. Mike Jensen, NBC News, New York.
And Jane, tomorrow we do expect the first convoys to leave the city with military escorts from the United States, heading for the interior where the need is especially great. And there will be an important political meeting tomorrow between the 2 major warlords and Robert Oakley, who is President Bush's special representative here. We don't know what impact tonight's shooting may have on all of that.
Well, Tom, from a personal point of view there in Mogadishu, is your anxiety level, and which would match everyone else's, I would think, markedly less than it was before the troops arrived?
It's a different kind of situation now. Before, it was very dangerous. There were lots of guns around. But tonight, we did put on flak jackets when we moved across the city to try to meet with one of the warlords, and he wouldn't see us, which was unusual. Well, that's Nightly News for this Thursday night. I'm Tom Brokaw in Somalia. I'll see you from here again tomorrow night.
She's being watched
You think somebody is stalking me?
by an admirer
Another package? What'd you get this time?
who's getting out of control.
Why are you doing this to me?
She's a new attorney
Welcome to Mackenzie Brackman.
who wants to be in control.
How'd you bamboozle your way into this job?
All new LA Law, NBC tonight.
Tomorrow morning on Today, the latest from Somalia with Tom Brokaw reporting live. Plus Tom Cruise from A Few Good Men and the music of Harry Connick.